We talked a bit the last couple of days about how the Democrats and CNN have twisted Donald Trump's statements, taken them out of context, to try to create an assassination threat out of what he said about the Second Amendment and the Supreme Court. But I think what we're really seeing here is an assassination attempt on Donald Trump by CNN, by the left-stream media. A political assassination, a character assassination. And, you know, we've had the report, this came out, I guess it's back in March. We had this report of a guy who jumped on stage, went after Donald Trump. Of course, they interviewed him on CNN. Even though he said he wanted to kill Donald Trump, they made a hero out of him on CNN. But we're going to look tonight at how they have gone way too far. And they've been caught in the lie that they just put out yesterday about the Secret Service coming after Donald Trump and trying to shut him down. Let's first take a look at the hit piece from the Clinton News Network. I guess we should call it the Conspiracy News Network. I mean, they're getting to the level that they were with the Malaysian flight MH370, where they had the little toy plane, and they were talking about black holes and UFOs. That's the level of where we are. But take a look at how they came after Donald Trump.
Donald Trump on the defensive again. Clinton's campaign quickly denouncing Trump, saying he is dangerous and a presidential candidate should not suggest violence in any way. Other Democrats echoing the same sharp rebuke. Republicans blasting Trump as well.
That's actually a very arresting comment. If someone else had said that outside the hall, he'd be in the back of a police wagon now with the Secret Service questioning him.
So as you saw there, they've got prepared graphics saying that he's dangerous, that he's trying to incite violence. In the full piece, they talk to a lot of Democrats, but then they say, and here's what the GOP people say about it. And they have Michael Hayden come out. Come on, Michael Hayden is not a GOP person. He is not a Republican. This is a guy who was appointed by Clinton, then he continued to serve under Bush, and then continued to serve under Obama. He has been supporting Clinton. Do you understand the psychological operation that he's putting on here? That subliminal message, arresting comment. In other words, he should be arrested for that comment. And then they splice together what he later said in their interview, literally that he would be arrested and put in the back of a van if he was somebody else. But then they go on and they talk to a reporter about this. Listen to how she characterizes Donald Trump's campaign.
While the Clinton campaign suggested that Trump may be inciting violence with his remarks, the Trump campaign takes a different tack with this. They seem to be suggesting that Donald Trump was just calling for Second Amendment voters to rally behind him.
Okay, so that was Sarah Murphy, and when she says what the Clinton people are saying, she takes it seriously. Well, I think that he's inciting violence. But then she said, but Trump campaign is taking a different tact. In other words, they're spinning. They seem to be suggesting, can you imagine, they would even suggest that Trump was just calling for Second Amendment voters to show up? It's like, yeah, that's precisely what they were doing. But it gets even crazier. Here's this last clip.
Trump blaming the desperate media for trying to distract from what he calls Clinton's anti-Second Amendment stance, even though Clinton has never called for abolishing gun rights.
Did you hear that at the end? They actually made the assertion that Hillary Clinton is not anti-Second Amendment. I mean, she is the most blatantly Second Amendment, anti-Second Amendment candidate that we've had. But Donald Trump got it exactly right, okay? They said Donald Trump blames a desperate media. No, he's not blaming the full media. He's blaming CNN. But look at what the full left-stream, mainstream media did. Look at some of these headlines from outlets like the New York Post, Us, Raw Story, Daily Mail, Mashable, Mother Jones, Politics USA, Huffington Post. Titles like this, New York Post, Secret Service spoke to Trump about the Second Amendment remark. Oh, did they? Okay. Mother Jones, CNN says Secret Service has spoken to Trump about Second Amendment people. They all refer to the CNN story. Nobody does their own reporting. Nobody calls up the Secret Service and asks them. They just repeat in an echo chamber what CNN has said. And then they go to this point. They have Huffington Post say, U.S. Secret Service posts a sinister statement after Donald Trump suggests it's okay to shoot Hillary Clinton. What was that sinister statement? They said, we're aware of the comment. And we're going to show more of that. But then they go on with this. This is Politicus, okay, saying Donald Trump is now calling the U.S. Secret Service a bunch of liars. No, what he did was he called CNN a bunch of liars. Now, Dan Bongino went on CNN as they're pushing this story about Donald Trump calling for an assassination, as they went in and said that the Secret Service is actually talking to Donald Trump in his campaign. He didn't buy it for a minute. Here's the exchange with Dan Bongino.
Listen, we can disagree about how imprudent he worded that, but to suggest that he was calling to violence means to me that you came into this with the idea that Donald Trump was calling to violence. Let me make the case afterwards. You didn't come into this with a clear and open mind. Listen, I endorsed Cruz in the primary campaign. I'm not a Trump surrogate. I'm supporting him now.
Okay, now that was Dan Bongino. He's a former Secret Service agent. He's running for Congress. We've interviewed him multiple times here at InfoWars. They put him in a situation 3 against 1. But he wasn't going to be intimidated. And one of the things that he said I think is very important, he gave them the benefit of the doubt. He said, I don't think you had an open mind. I think you already heard what you wanted to hear, and that's the way you came out of this. They understand precisely what they're doing. They're deliberately lying to people. They understand that the Democrat base is extremely irrationally afraid of guns. And anytime you talk about the Second Amendment, you can scare them by saying they're calling for civil war. That's why CNN is doing this. Now, he goes on, and they have a back and forth, a very testy back and forth between Don Lemon and Dan Bongino about his Secret Service aspect, or his perspective on this against these other 3 people. Listen to this back and forth.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
It doesn't make it, Don, frankly, I'm ashamed that you're talking to me as if I'm a child when 12 years of my life
No,
I
you're
was a Secret
treating me
Service
as a
agent,
child because
putting
you're
my
telling
blood on
me
the line
what I'm
while you were
supposed to
learning how
hear.
to be a TV
And you're sitting here on television
sitting here
lying to the
lecturing me.
American.
Okay, again, they say Lemon tries to shame him. Say, you should be ashamed of yourself. And he says, you should be ashamed of treating me like a child. I spent 12 years in the Secret Service putting my life on the line while you were learning to be a TV personality. Wow, that really must have hurt. But that didn't stop them. They continued on with this, and here's where Dan Bongino lays it on the line.
It was a presidential candidate giving a speech where he was talking about the Second Amendment. This isn't even close to the Secret Service would laugh this off if you brought this in their office.
The Secret Service is not laughing it off, by the way.
It's sort of a subtle call to violence.
Secret Service official Twitter account that says the Secret Service is aware of the comments made earlier this afternoon, and as you said, laughing it off. They're not laughing it off.
They're not laughing. That's exactly right.
Don, I actually talk to Secret Service agents who work on the job still. I work there for 12 years.
Or have them call me, but go ahead.
Believe me, they think this is ridiculous.
And again, you can hear David Gergen there, and I'm sure they put him out as a Republican, even though he's been with Clinton ever since Bill Clinton was there. He was put in first by Ford, then by Reagan. Then he became a Clinton appointee, and he's been with Hillary ever since. But going back to what they said there, they put up that Secret Service tweet saying, we are aware of the comment. The way I read that, it's like, leave us alone. But they take it as proof that they've talked to Trump. So Lemon and Gergen say, well, they're not laughing it off now, Bongino. Bongino says, I'm in contact with them. They are laughing at it. And Lemon said, well, have them call me. No, what Lemon should have done was he should have called the Secret Service. He didn't do that. CNN didn't do that. But Reuters did. And here's what they found out. Here's a story as RT covers it. They point out the CNN story is a hoax. Now, that's a quote from Donald Trump after Reuters has talked to them. CNN said Secret Service officials confirmed to CNN that the U.S. Secret Service has spoken to Trump campaign regarding his Second Amendment comments. That was on the 10th of August. Then they came out, another CNN reporter says, breaking, U.S. Secret Service has spoken to Trump campaign regarding Second Amendment comments and more than one conversation. Then Donald Trump came out and said, there is no such meeting or conversation that's ever happened. This is a made-up story by low ratings CNN. Then the real news came out. Donald Trump tweeted it when it happened. He said, Reuters just announced the Secret Service never spoke to me or my campaign. It is a made-up story by CNN, a hoax, totally dishonest. But understand that now we've got, still 12 hours later, CNN is still pushing the narrative that Trump has been talked to multiple times. Here's what Reuters said. A federal official on Wednesday said the U.S. Secret Service had not formally spoken with Republican Donald Trump's presidential campaign regarding his suggestion a day earlier that gun rights activists could stop Democratic rival Hillary Clinton from curtailing their access to firearms. Following Trump's comment at a rally on Tuesday, a federal official familiar with the matter told Reuters that there had been no formal conversations between the Secret Service and the Trump campaign. And then they say, earlier, CNN had reported that there had been multiple conversations between the campaign and the agency. That is why, as Drudge tweeted out earlier today, CNN fell to third place with Anderson Cooper and Don Lemon against even MSNBC. The game is up. they have lost in their assassination attempt. They've merely shot themselves. For InfoWars, I'm David Knight.
Introducing Secret 12, the new InfoWars Life vitamin B12 formulation. Now, InfoWarsLife.com is excited to announce that we can bring you our most bioactive, powerful form of B12 that has been developed with our exclusive perfected process. Secret 12 is a binary of nutramedical grade, bioavailable coenzyme forms of B12. Secure your revolutionary Secret 12 formula right now at InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.